Take two people, same city, same economy, same job market, same starting salary, same opportunities, appearing in front of both of them at roughly the same time. 5 years later, one of them is building wealth, saving consistently, investing, growing. The other is in the same financial position they were in at the start, maybe slightly worse. Same world, completely different outcomes. Now here's what most people assume, that the difference is discipline, or intelligence, or luck, or that one person simply worked harder. Harv Eker spent years studying wealthy people and financially struggling people side by side. And what he found was something far more fundamental than any of those explanations. The difference was not behavior. The behavior was just the symptom. The difference was what each person believed, at a level so deep, so early, so invisible, that most of them had no idea it was there, about what they deserved, what was possible for them, and what money actually meant. He called it the Millionaire Mind, and his argument, blunt, direct, and deeply uncomfortable, is that the financial life you have right now is not an accident. It is the precise, inevitable result of a program running in your subconscious. That was written for you before you were old enough to question it. This is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And before we're done today, you are going to recognize the program. Let's break it. Section 1, the financial blueprint. Eker opens the book with a concept that everything else is built on. He calls it your financial blueprint, the internal script that determines your relationship with money at a level below conscious thought. Think of it like a thermostat. If a thermostat is set to 20 degrees, it doesn't matter how cold the room gets. The heating will kick in and bring it back. It doesn't matter how warm the room gets. The cooling kicks in and brings it back down. Always back to 20 degrees. Always back to the setting. Eker argues that every person has a financial thermostat, a subconscious set point for how much money they feel comfortable having, how much success they believe they deserve, and how quickly they find ways to return to their financial baseline, no matter what happens around them. Give someone with a low financial thermostat a sudden windfall, a lottery win, an inheritance, a business payout, and watch what happens. Studies show they return to their original financial position within a few years, not because they're foolish, because their thermostat pulled them back. The income went up, the set point didn't. And the set point always wins. Here's what makes this idea truly confronting. Your financial thermostat was not set by you. It was set in childhood by watching your parents, by hearing comments about money at the dinner table, by absorbing the beliefs and behaviors of the adults who were closest to you before you had the vocabulary, the experience, or the capacity to evaluate any of it. And unless you deliberately reprogram it, it will keep running exactly as written, long after the people who wrote it have left the room. The first pattern to break: stop looking at your financial results as evidence of what you're doing wrong. Start looking at them as a readout of what your blueprint believes is possible. Section 2, how the blueprint gets written. Eker identifies 3 primary channels through which the financial blueprint is programmed. Verbal conditioning. What did you hear about money growing up? Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. We can't afford that. Money is the root of all evil. Who do you think we are? Every one of these statements is a line of code written directly into your operating system, and the mind of a child does not filter or question. It absorbs and stores. If you heard rich people are greedy enough times before the age of 10, part of your subconscious will resist becoming wealthy, because it associates wealth with becoming a kind of person you were taught to dislike. Modeling. You became what you watched. If your parents struggled with money, argued about money, avoided money conversations, or if they handled money with ease, discussed it openly, invested confidently, You absorb that pattern as normal, as the baseline of what life looks like, as what people like you do. Specific incidents: a moment of financial humiliation, a parent losing a job, a business that failed publicly, a single comment from a teacher or a relative that landed harder than anyone intended. These incidents become anchors, emotional reference points. The subconscious returns to whenever money is at stake, and they shape risk tolerance, spending behavior, and self-worth in ways that persist for decades. None of this is your fault. All of it is your responsibility. Because the blueprint was written without your consent, but only you can rewrite it. Section 3, 17 Ways Rich People Think Differently. This is the section of the book that most people read as a simple list. It isn't. Each one is a mirror. And if you look honestly, you will see yourself in the left column more often than you'd like to admit. Eker calls them wealth files, direct comparisons between the thought patterns of wealthy people and struggling people. Here are the ones that hit hardest. Rich people believe I create my life. Poor people believe life happens to me. This is the foundational split. Wealthy people operate from a position of agency. They see themselves as the primary variable in their financial outcome. Struggling people operate from a position of circumstance. The economy, the government, their boss, their background. Both beliefs produce the behavior that confirms them. Rich people are willing to be uncomfortable. Poor people prioritize comfort. Building wealth almost universally requires a sustained period of discomfort, delayed gratification, risk, uncertainty, the willingness to fail publicly and continue. The person who prioritizes feeling safe in the short term will almost always trade the long-term result. They say they want. Rich people think big. Poor people think small. Eker is specific here, not just in terms of goals, but in terms of the value you believe you can create, the people you believe you can serve, and the impact you believe you're entitled to have. Thinking small is not humility. It is a blueprint setting. Rich people focus on opportunities. Poor people focus on obstacles. Same situation, same data. Different filter entirely. The wealthy person asks, what could this become? The struggling person asks, what could go wrong? Both questions find exactly what they're looking for. Rich people manage their money well. Poor people mismanage their money well. This one is the least comfortable for most people, because it removes the income excuse entirely. Eker's argument: it is not about how much you earn, it is about what you do with what you earn. And the habits of financial management, the tracking, the allocating, the treating of small amounts, with the same respect as large ones, are developed at any income level, or not developed at all. Rich people are bigger than their problems. Poor people are smaller than their problems. The wealthy don't have fewer problems. They have developed a relationship with problems that sees them as normal friction on the path, as the material of growth rather than evidence of failure. The struggling person is stopped by problems the wealthy person barely slows down for, not because of resources, but because of the belief about what problems mean. Section 4, the reframe that changes everything. Here's the idea from this book that I want you to carry into the rest of your week. Near the end of the book, Eker says something that sounds almost too simple to be the point, and is exactly the point. He says, if you want to change the fruits, you have to change the roots. Most people spend their entire financial lives working on the fruits, the income, the savings rate, the investment strategy, the side hustle, and they get better at those things. But the tree keeps producing the same harvest because the roots were never touched. The roots are the blueprint, the beliefs inherited in childhood about what money is, what wealthy people are, what you are allowed to become, and what you deserve. Touch the roots and the whole tree changes. Leave them alone, and no amount of fruit-level effort will ever change the harvest for long. You are not where you are financially because you haven't worked hard enough. You are where you are because a version of you that was 5 years old made a set of decisions about the world, and those decisions have been running your financial life ever since. The work is not to work harder. The work is to find the program, read it, question it, and decide consciously, deliberately, for the first time what you actually choose to believe. So here is the pattern this book is asking you to break. The pattern of treating your financial results as proof of your worth, your intelligence, or your future. They are none of those things. They are a readout of a program that was written for you, not by you. And programs can be rewritten, but only by the person willing to look at them honestly, to sit with the discomfort of recognizing that the ceiling they keep hitting was built inside them long before they ever had the chance to choose differently. Harv Eker's message is not comfortable, but it is one of the most freeing things you will ever let yourself hear. The results in your life right now are not your destiny. They are your starting point. And if that idea connects with something in you, if you feel that pull toward thinking differently, building intentionally, and finally breaking the patterns that have kept you circling the same starting line, then this channel is exactly where you belong. Every week we break down the books, ideas, and mindsets that help you close the gap between who you are right now and who you already know you're capable of becoming. Atomic Habits, Mastery, The Psychology of Money, Getting Things Done, The Diary of a CEO Influence. Every one of those breakdowns is already here, waiting for you on this channel. Watch the one that's been calling you, because the fact that you made it to the end of this video tells me something about you. You are not looking for entertainment. You are looking for a shift. And shifts begin with a single decision: to stop accepting the program and start writing your own. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Think differently. Live intentionally. I'll see you in the next one.